In this video, we will be talking about last night's Republican presidential debate and what went down, what came out of it overall, and how I think that it really does not matter to the race. It was a very boring debate. The first debate might have had some impact. It definitely saw a bit of a rise for Nikki Haley that gave her a boost the first debate. It also Ron DeSantis' decline continued, so probably hurt him a bit. But this second debate, overall, I really don't think we're going to get any major changes to the race at all, besides maybe a candidate or two dropping out because they missed the debate. Maybe someone like Ryan Binkley is going to drop out, or Asa Hutchinson, or Larry Elder, probably Larry Elder, or Will Hurd, these candidates who didn't make the debate. But anyway, this debate, just a quick rundown. I guess I'll just say in my own words here. Here's the lineup. Sorry, this is a pretty pixelated image. But in the middle, we had Ron DeSantis. Number 2, we had Vivek Ramaswamy. Number 3 was Nikki Haley. She has climbed up a spot. Number 4, we had Tim Scott from South Carolina. Number 5, we had Chris Christie. Number 6, on the very edge, we had Mike Pence, which was a huge shock, saying that he was here before. He was where Nikki Haley is, basically. And then we had Doug Burgum in 7th on the far left. So anyway, again, this wasn't some crazy debate. It wasn't as entertaining, if you will, as the first one. Not nearly as much. But I will say more policy was being said, I think at least, than the first debate. Maybe not, but I think so. That more policy was being talked about than in the first debate. And just going through a rundown of the candidates, starting from left to right. So Doug Burgum. Has said after the debate that he is very unhappy with the amount of time. Oh, geez, I forgot to pull up how the speaking time of these candidates. Darn it. That really stinks. Anyway, Doug Burgum got about 5 minutes of speaking time, and he was very unhappy with that, especially considering that most of it was from him, jabbing himself into the conversation. The moderators were not including him at all. I don't know how, but Mike Pence got 8 minutes of speaking time, and Burgum got only 5, even though they're both, Pence is number 6, Burgum is number 7. They're both on the far ends of the stage. So Doug Burgum was very unhappy with that, but the way he got himself in the conversation was a little obnoxious, annoying. It's not like he said anything super exciting or newsworthy. So we probably won't see Burgum-mentum, unfortunately. Next, we have Chris Christie. Chris Christie did not have an amazing night. I had a feeling that he would be doing pretty good in this debate, because he learned from the first one, I guess. But he really didn't. Christie did not do that well. I don't know. Talked about Trump a lot. That's basically really all he talked about. Christie didn't have a good night. Then we have Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley, in my opinion, if I was in a poll who won the Republican debate, besides Trump, obviously, I would probably say Nikki Haley. I think that Nikki Haley did pretty solid. Good line against Vivek. I feel dumber every time I listen to you. She kind of owned that line, the way she said it. That was kind of a great moment, probably the best moment of the debate. And then, yeah, she did make a few comments against Trump, but I don't think we're going to see Haley-mentum like we did after the first debate. I mean, sure, it'll continue a little bit. It's not like she's going to decline from this debate, I don't think. But it wasn't anything spectacular. And then we have Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis, I'd answer Haley did the best because of my point of view, as I'm very centered. But if I was more of a if I was more conservative, more Republican, I would say that Ron DeSantis won the debate, because Ron DeSantis had a really good night. And I honestly think that if enough people watched this debate, then his decline wouldn't continue, his decline in polls, because DeSantis spoke very well. He stood his ground, and I don't. He seemed just the way he talked was way better than the first debate, and just way better than he usually speaks. So I think that Ron DeSantis should be very happy with his performance, and I think it'll help him at least a little bit. It was definitely better than his first performance, and yeah, I mean, he really seemed tough, like, but he on policy, not just like these one-liners, whatever, try to get some attention. No, he was talking about real policy. So I think that DeSantis had a very good night. Vivek Ramaswamy, not the best night, not the worst either. I mean, I don't really know what to say. He was the center of some attacks, but at least not as much as the first. But if he didn't really rise after the first debate, I don't know why he wouldn't after this second one. I mean, only like controversial, I guess, thing that he was talking about was his very extreme stance on transgenderism in the United States. But besides that, I mean, he went on the attack a little bit, I guess, against Haley and DeSantis. But I don't know. He shouldn't see any major change in polls. Then we have Tim Scott, who, like this Politico article says, finally showed a pulse. Tim Scott did all right. He got asked. He had one of the highest speaking times. Number one was DeSantis, then Vivek, if I'm remembering correctly, then Tim Scott, then Chris Christie, then it's either Mike Pence or Nikki Haley, but I think Mike Pence somehow, and then Nikki Haley, and then Doug Burgum. I believe that's right. Anyway, Tim Scott got a lot of speaking time for his poll numbers, and I don't know, he came across as more as very optimistic. I mean, just like his campaign, but he's definitely making that more apparent in his debate performance than at least in the first one. But he was able to get some good lines out, unlike his performance in the first debate. But again, we're not going to see a rise in his poll numbers, and that's for all these candidates. I don't think that anyone is going to see a rise in their poll numbers after this debate. It just wasn't a good debate. It wasn't exciting. No one had good lines, had a good whatever. Then we have Mike Pence. He did pretty poorly. I mean, I don't know how anyone supports Mike Pence, honestly. He's just the blandest person, like, to ever run for president. But yeah, he pretty bad at speaking. Had a few weird comments too. Anyway, so that is how each candidate did. And now we are going to look at some numbers of how people think, people think in the debate. So this Drudge poll, which is an online poll, I like these polls because so many people respond, and we have almost 80,000 respondents. The only thing is, I mean, I assume these are not all Republican primary voters. Lots of Democrats watching who are just into politics, lots of independents watching that are just into politics. So I do think that this would be more skewed in favor of more moderate centrist candidates like Nikki Haley, like Chris Christie, maybe like Doug Burgum a little bit. Burgum got 5%, doesn't really matter, but I mean really just Christie and Haley. I mean, looking at this poll, I don't think that 37% of Republicans would think that Nikki Haley won the debate. She attacked Trump a little bit, and that line where she attacked Trump would turn off a lot of, Trump supporters right now, Republicans who answered this poll. Same with Chris Christie. I don't think that 14% think that Chris Christie won the debate. I don't think that there's any chance that 14% of people thought that Chris Christie won the debate. Anyway, there are 80,000 respondents, so it's still worth looking. Nikki Haley won at 37%, against DeSantis 21%. Big win for Haley in this Drudge poll. Then we have Vivek Ramaswamy at 18%. These numbers look accurate. Vivek 3 points behind DeSantis. Chris Christie at 14%, which again I don't believe. Doug Burgum at 5%. That's probably accurate. Tim Scott at 3%. And Mike Pence at 2%. All accurate. Those ones at least. Next up, looking at this Twitter poll where, we won't count this, but which had 9,000 respondents. Ron DeSantis won 24%, and then Vivek won 40%. Haley won 30% above DeSantis. Mike Pence won 6.5%. However, I don't know. I'm even bringing this poll up. It's a Twitter poll. Anyone could vote in this. Now, actual polls. This is 546 Republican viewers. So not as much as 9,000, not as much as 80,000. That's why I like to bring those polls up. This poll by Daily Mail and whatever this is, Vivek Ramaswamy, big win at 35%. DeSantis at 24%. And then we have Mike Pence at 11% somehow. Tim Scott at 7%. Nikki Haley at 7%. At 7% for Nikki Haley. Chris Christie at 6%. Doug Burgum at 3%. Okay. I don't know what this poll, there are just so many outliers, like, compared to other polls in this one. And just kind of common sense. Me knowing my stuff about politics. I know that 11% more people, I don't think, thought that Vivek won the debate more than DeSantis. I don't believe that. And I don't believe that nearly 11% of people thought Mike Pence won that debate, considering his poll numbers. And I don't think that more people thought that Mike Pence or Tim Scott won the debate more than Nikki Haley. I do not believe that at all. The only accurate ones are like Chris Christie at 6%. And Doug Burgum at 3%. I don't think that any others are accurate. And then we have, of course, who do we think is the real winner? Wait. Oh, okay. So this is, okay. I did not know that when pulling it up, but this is from the same people, same voters. So this is very revealing because with the real winner question, the same people who voted in this, 35% for Ramaswamy, 24% for DeSantis, say 27% Trump won. 26% Ramaswamy won. So you can see Ramaswamy supporters, very friendly with Trump. They said that, or about 10% of Ramaswamy's supporters say that Trump was the real winner. DeSantis goes from 24 to 17, that's 6% of overall, going from DeSantis to Trump, and real winner. And I guess the rest of them. I don't know how 2% said Asa Hutchinson was the real winner. That doesn't really make any sense. Anyway, so yeah. So, again, who do I think won the debate? I think that going out of this, Donald Trump won the debate. Of course. If I was doing on the stage, Nikki Haley, because her poll numbers will probably continue to rise. But the real winner, definitely Donald Trump, because he is continuing to win this race, and he's not doing anything that will make him lose support. He's only gaining support. And when candidates are arguing like this and not all of them taking on Trump directly on stage, that it's tough. It's tough for them to get any real support. We're talking about Haley Mentum, but she's seen like a 2% increase on average from the first debate. So it still doesn't matter. But I think that these candidates are trying to battle it out, kind of similar to 2016. I think that they are trying to battle it out to become Trump's main opponent, and then, debate him one-on-one. Maybe make it close so that he debates you one-on-one, and then you can have some real opposition to him. You can have some challenge to Donald Trump. win some primaries against him, on that debate stage. Take him on one-on-one. And I think that everyone is trying to be that candidate. So, thank you all for watching this video. Again, major takeaways from this video. No one won the debate. I mean, even Trump didn't. Probably nothing will change. Very boring debate. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.